and Gretel. After 3 years of failed crops, Hansel and Gretel's family have no food left but some moldy potatoes. Her father grew weak, and her stepmother grew thin and sharp. Gretel was so young that she did not even remember the good times. One morning, father called the children. "Come with me for a walk in the woods," he said. Gretel happily followed, but Hansel caught a glimpse of stepmother's face watching from the window. He got very bad feeling. "Where are we going?" Hansel asked, as father led them deeper into the forest. "Shh," said the father, secretly squeezing a small crust of bread to Hansel's hand. "This is a large bit of bread," he whispered. Hansel wanted to gobble it down, but he could feel that something was wrong, though his mouth watered. He decided to tear the bread into crumbs and drop them as he walked. He marked a path as three headed deeper into the forest. Finally, father stopped, his voice shaking. "We don't have enough to feed you any more," he said. "There's a village not far away where you can go with that." He vanished between the trees. Gretel cried out and chased him, but soon fell behind. "Look, I made a path," he said, pointing at bread crumbs. His sister sniffled bravely as they turned toward home. "You didn't make a very good path," Gretel panted. Hansel thought he'd dropped enough crumbs, but he kept blocking the way. Then he saw the sparrow swoop down, grab a crumb, and flying off, but could not find the path. They could not find the path. "Birds ate your crumbs. We're lost!" Gretel cried. Hansel tried to stay calm, but the forest was growing gloomy. "Let's try and find that village," he said. They walked for a long time. Hansel was almost sure father had lied to them, when suddenly he spotted a clearing ahead. In the meadow was the most remarkable thing, a cottage made entirely of sweets. The children stumbled toward it, their stomachs grumbling with hunger. Gretel took a chocolate shingle and sweetness of frosting icicle almost made Hansel dizzy. They didn't hear the door swing open. "Do I hear a little mouse nibbling on my house?" a sweet voice said. It was a tiny old woman with a clown's eyes calling to them. "Please come in," she offered. Hansel and Gretel happily followed her inside. The old woman blindly felt her way around the house, where she brought two heaping plates of gingerbread cakes and pie. When the children were finally full, she pulled a box off her shelf. "I don't have many toys, but I do have these old things," she said. She tossed Hansel and mm, Emerald the sign of his fist. He and her sister played the gemstone. The warm fire made them sleepy, and then they fell into the woman's soft feather bed. breakfast was waffles, strawberries, and piles of whipped cream. When they were finished, the woman said, "My eyesight isn't so good anymore. You might do a few chores for me." The children agreed at once. The woman handed Gretel a broom, then she planted the broken leg on a high window. "Maybe you can reach it from that bird cage," she suggested. A huge empty bird cage hung from the ceiling near the window. Hansel climbed onto the table and pulled himself inside. With a click, the cage door swung shut behind him. Gretel did not see the cage door shut, but she heard the click. She also saw a wicked smile flash across the old woman's face. "Get back to work!" the woman snarled. Isn't it comfortable out there?" The woman called that Hansel have some more cake. "You're thin now, but you'll fatten up soon." Gretel shuddered, but she was too scared to object. Can I do anything else?" she asked with a faint cheer. "Oh, there's plenty," the woman hissed, bringing a filthy mop, buckle, and rag. Gretel washed, scrubbed, and swept for a day. He was always keeping an eye on the old woman. Every day the woman shoved more treats to Hazel's cage. Every day she pushed his arm over. Hazel began to grow soft. The woman smiled in a way that made Greta feel ill. Greta felt helpless, but one evening she got an idea. While sweeping out she found a chicken bone. She tossed the bone to Hazel's cage. "When she tries to grab your arms, give her this instead," she whispered. From then when the woman reached for Hansel's arm, she pinched the bone. "Why aren't you getting fat?" she demanded. The old woman finally grew frustrated. "Not waiting any longer. Girl, fill the big pot with water to build a fire," she ordered. Greta began to tremble, but she did as she was told. When the water got hot, the woman went to Hansel's cage. She had to stand on the chair to open the door. This was Gretel's chance. With all the strength she swung her broom at the cage, knocking it from the hook. As the cage and Hansel came crashing down, the woman stumbled backward and fell. Hansel squirreled free, and the woman slowly pulled herself up. But Hansel and Gretel rushed at her together. They shoved her into a cage and slammed the door. "You wicked children, let me out!" she screamed. Hansel snatched the treasure chest. Together the children fled into the forest. They ran until they were exhausted. They were right where they started, lost in the woods. Gretel somehow felt stronger and less afraid than before. They decided to walk on, hoping to find a village. Suddenly, Gretel heard a distant voice calling their name. Still afraid, the children hid in the underbrush. Brush. As the voice came closer, it began to sound more familiar. Just before the source came into view, Greta realized who it was. "Father!" she cried, leaping into his arms. His eyes were red from crying. "My children," he shouted, "I'm sorry for what I did. I sent your stepmother away, and I've been looking for you ever since." Then then his happy smile fell. "I still have no food for you," he sighed. "We can buy all the food we want," Hansel announced, pulling the treasure chest from his coat. The laughter echoed through the forest. Together they headed toward home.